let's look at some of the reactions from a lot of people. Some activists have described Trump's actions as inhumane treatment because his moves, obviously, they mainly prioritize political and economic agendas over the lives, and some have said even the dignity of vulnerable populations. So first of all, do you think his policies are justified, especially to the benefit of the American people, or do you agree that his measures are inhumane and they're not forward-looking?
See, I would agree to a certain part of it, and I would disagree to this certain part. What I disagree to the part is that they're inhumane. Trump's policies are very clear. He wants to work on America first. He wants to bring the nation back on the path of development, on the progress path, which he has been witnessing over the years. Now, coming back to the second part of the question, wherein are these policies justified? To some extent, yes. To some extent, no. Because if you are not looking at the short-term impact, you will not be in a position to strengthen your nation in the long term. Thank you.
All right. Let me throw that same question to you as well, Christopher. Do you also think that Trump's policies are not justified, or they are justified, looking at his pro-American policies, especially considering that obviously America is going to benefit more from this? So what are your thoughts on that as well, leeching onto what Dr. Prachi said?
Yeah, I would actually push back a little bit against what Dr. Prachi said there, in that I think it's possibly the most. It's a very kind interpretation of President Trump's policies. I'd be far more negative about what the actual motivations behind what he's doing are. I don't particularly think this is for the good of all America. I don't think America First is. He's very focused on trying to make cuts, to give himself space to be making tax cuts, which only benefits a particular sector of society. I think a large amount of the shock and awe that's been going on here isn't particularly to do with policy. It's to do with confusion. It's to do with, if you look back at the first Trump term, and you have Bannon, who was describing their plan of action, their plan of trying to get policy through. They said they wanted to flood the zone, and flooding the zone meant trying to keep on putting out as much information as you could, trying to keep people off balance. So you have one shocking announcement after next shocking announcement, next shocking announcement. So attention is continually focused upon today's news, and you forget about what shocking happened yesterday. And all the time under the surface, you have appointments going on where he's consolidating power. And I think fundamentally what he's talking about is there's a kernel of truth in an awful lot of what he says, but he then takes that kernel of truth and he uses it to completely blow up entire systems. So he wants to be kind of so USAID as for one thing. Like, there is a kernel of truth in that there are inefficiencies. There's a kernel of truth in that there may have been some corruption in there at small parts. But if you have a look at the good that has been achieved, both from America's point of view and from the rest of the world's point of view, the last 50 years of USAID being in place, it is unquestionably a good thing. If you're talking about the Department of Health, if you're talking about the Department of Education, he says that there may be some sort of like woke agendas going on in the Department of Education. That maybe there may be a kernel of truth in there. That doesn't mean you blow the whole thing up. If you're not looking for power, you work with Congress, you work with the other branches of government to try and make long-standing reform. If power is your entire motivation, you just do executive orders. You don't worry about the other branches of power, and you go and do exactly what he's doing.